Peace be upon you. So let's see for next week. Today the moon is in Cancer. I feel you're getting some more trust in yourself and your abilities. But let's see from tomorrow. Breathe, please. Take a deep breath. So, you're being asked to be tolerant and find a new way to handle something on Monday. You may be offended by someone, or you just had enough. You reached some limit. But that's an opportunity, right? Show them a different way of doing things by expressing how you feel about how they treat you, what they're saying in regards to you, their advice, their opinions, etc., how that may harm you and how that is not positive nor constructive. So be rational, be tolerant, and keep in mind that theirs is a reaction, or rather a response to something that you may have done. So this is an opportunity for you to take things, it matters, into your own hands, show bravery, courage, and determination to make something work, to set things straight for the highest good, right? So putting aside your how you may feel about it, or that you may be offended by it, right? You may feel offended by it. In other words, by this person's behavior. They may be not so keen on meeting you halfway or positively replying to something that you may have said and done to begin with, right? So you be the first one to make the first step on Monday. If you have something to, clarify, mend, fix, etc. Because at this point, if you continue the cycle, you're going to continue hurting one another. But again, be tolerant, because keep in mind, they are responding to something, rather reacting at this point. It may be a mirroring of some sort, or they're just, taking it from where you left it off and continuing on that note. Then maybe it's time for you to say, stop, let's stop doing this. Listen, I understand. I may have said this or done that, or I may have been, not considering you, and let's just speak clearly, and etc. And this is an opportunity for you. So careful about condemning, taking accountability. That shows rather strength rather than weakness. On Tuesday, oh, I see you. Oh, okay, as I said, I feel you're feeling it. You're feeling more confident. You're coming back into your power. You're realizing, wow, I'm actually blessed. I'm capable. I've got this. I'm handling this. I'm able. Nothing can be used against me. I cannot be easily triggered. I'm owning everything, good or bad. I'm absolutely connected, grounded, stable. I've got this. I can make this happen. So that will only attract actual genuine people. Yesterday and today there was this energy of people coming to praise you or make some compliments, and that couldn't be trusted, and you felt it. And I think you made the right decisions to just ignore or cut them out, or right. You're not easily, deceived by false compliments, and just take it as if you were walking on your path, on your path, having your own experience, right, as a divine child, exploring the world, etc. And energies, people, beings keep coming at you, right? Of course you will question, and it's absolutely natural. What do they want, right? Is there something in it? Of course, there always is. Sometimes it's something absolutely beneficial for both parties involved, and it's just a natural tendency, like divine timing and two people being brought together, meeting on the path, and so on. And in other cases, it may be predatory. You may be guilty of the same as well. You may see something you like and straight at it. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's something bad about it. It means you want it, right? It's up to you. It's on you to determine why you would want it, what you would be willing to get it, etc. Or is it about the object or the person of your desire or your wish per se, or is it about what it actually may represent to you? Are you escaping, right? Etc. So you've done your work. You're abundant, stable, grounded, mature, hardworking. You've grown this garden on your own. Wow. Presence, connection, intuition, maturity, wisdom, productivity. You have the skills, the experience, and you will meet new people. You're finding new friends, specifically, people that actually truly respect you. You may have contact from the most unexpected people. Careful not to be played by your curiosity in entertaining energies that you no longer want to deal with, especially if they're people from your past. This is the time for you to finally let go of past experiences that may have harmed you, even for a long time. The traumatic experiences. You have a positive outlook overall, very hopeful. And it's based on actual real foundations. You know what you're capable of and what you've got to work with. Very grounded again. Your head is definitely on your shoulders. Doesn't mean you're lacking intuition and connection. All the contrary. You're starting to understand even the languages of the wind and the trees. And there's going to be a lot of communication. A lot of energy that's kind of focused towards you to provide, to support, which is very beautiful. So you will be rather receiving, I see, but there's an exchange. But you're receiving a lot of unexpected phone calls, unanticipated. You will find them at least very interesting and consistent or serious, generous offers of, again, support, rewards for merit, acknowledgement and recognition, honors, gifts, especially moral, I see support, but also financial wise. But just the fact that someone is holding space for you, is giving you their time, you're starting to see yourself in a different light. You're finally getting that support. And you will find solutions, especially if you're dragging along with someone from your past, since something isn't completely over. There was a lot left unsaid, undone, etc. So here's your opportunity. Be mindful of your sexuality, because you will have a spike, in sexuality, which would translate in weird ways. It's just the fire that's telling you you're ready to, reproduce, to be fruitful, to create, so sexually it will be a bit weird, especially if you're, not asexual, but rather, I feel, sapiosexuals, right? Like most air signs. You will be a bit weirded out. Don't identify with that energy. Just understand that it's rising up for you to see it and channel it. Channel it properly. It's very creative, right? It's passionate. So in other situations, if you have a partner, well, yes, I mean, it's beautiful, and there will be conclusions being finally drawn, and turning a relationship into an official one. There's high possibilities for making it official. Engagements, marriages, births, the completion of a happy family, but rather you will perceive it as the personal fulfillment, as both an individual, a spirit, a human in general. Man, woman, daughter, mother, father, friend, etc. So solutions to things that you thought were unsolvable, but somehow you were still hoping to fix. Okay. First day. On first day, as I said, I see communication coming towards you. It may be someone from your past. Very fast, very unexpected communication. That also means letters, emails, messages, a lot of things happening here. The purpose of clarifying, expanding. Yes, if you've made any debts or have some things to pay, those will need to be addressed as well. If you do intend of purchasing something and you feel you may not make it on your own, here's where that, bravery comes through and says, I think I can handle this. So asking for a loan, or at least expressing your necessity and your intentions on what you will do with it, and there will be people available to assist you with whatever it is that you're trying to purchase, whether it's a car or house, etc. So asking for financial help will give you said help. You'll find a way. Be more patient. This requires patience to take each things by, hand, one by one. Give it the necessary importance and attention and care for whatever it is. Whether it's that you're cleaning the house, you need to take every little object. You're reassessing your social life and situation and contact list, whether cleaning up your email, checking out your phone book. Why do you still keep those numbers there? Delete, block, delete, cancel, remove, etc. Delete old accounts that you keep receiving spam from. You never even remember when you subscribe to it, etc. You don't need all of that energy. Go through your documents. Those belong to an old identity that you may still be attached to from your past. Just, what I do usually, for example, with documents, I just take a bucket of water or whatever, big container, empty, and just throw the documents in it. Careful though, because there's no turning back, but I don't need to tell you that because you've been probably holding it for eternity. You need to let that go. Okay, are you brave enough? Take some old contracts, all that you feel as if you were keeping as some form of a proof of some sort, and just put them in that bucket, throw water over it just to cover, and let it sink, and then you're done. You can just squeeze it out, right? Drain it, and you can throw it away. There's nothing left of it once it's damped. That's what I do when you don't have the possibility to just burn it. So if it's not fire, it's water. You can use that. So on Thursday, it's quiet, but at that point, you've already kind of used up this energy. You're just taking a rest. There's Mars and Mercury that are kind of playing up with your mood for a moment there. You have also 4 planets retrograde, etc. So the advice would be to just mind your nerves. You may be, again, this energy of not being tolerant or jumping too fast to conclusions, being a bit reactive, or just sick and tired of stuff because you're just tired for a moment there. You need to relax, rest, and wait for this energy to pass. Okay, let's see. Wednesday, we have Death in reverse, Major Arcana. Okay, something is definitely not over. That love that you feel for someone that makes your heart pump in your chest like well, it's coming back around. That same feeling. You may associate it with a specific person, but you've never felt that before. This is gonna probably spark a new interest for you to, as I felt in the other reading, to pursue, to go deeper, whether it's psychology, alternative treatments, etc. You're going out of the, commonly agreed upon or popularized techniques, and you're gonna go out the beaten path, so to speak. You're going your own way, and you kind of taken over by this. It's like a fascination. Know thy own worth. On Wednesday, you may be called to remind yourself of how capable you are. If you are seeking for a job, you're going to be successful, and you feel it, because you're absolutely taken by that job, or what that job entails when it comes to your responsibilities, right? Job requirements, you're fascinated by it, so it's going to be yours. You're going to get it because you absolutely love it. You're meant to have it. It's for you. So no victim, no speaking of the past, no carrying baggage, no nothing, no weakness, no being vulnerable or appearing as vulnerable in hopes to maybe get being cut a slack. No, because you don't need it. If you're going to conquer something, you're going to conquer it fairly. You've always been a fair player, or at least you've attempted consciously to be one. What you need to work on, and I believe you kind of try to address that. Just remember that once you get the hang of it, you're just going to go with it, is discipline, consistency. Nothing to fear. You can do it. Now it's time for you to take all of your best qualities and put them to work. Friday. Oh, wow. Major Arcana, the Wheel of Fortune. Powerful. I'm checking, the astrological aspects of it. Important decisions to make. This may actually upset those around you if you have children or etc. Don't be afraid to explore with them more important matters and decisions that you're making, and in getting them involved. But if it's a partner, etc., don't try not to stress them with this process. You will be giving everything such a huge importance and significance, and the others may not share that, so please keep that in mind. It doesn't mean they don't support you. It means that everybody handles things differently. So speaking with children or the youth in general about this matter may actually give you a very powerful insight, rather than speaking with your partner, who you will perceive at this time as, okay, you're not really that interested, you don't seem to want the same thing, that's how you're going to perceive it, because they don't match whatever energy you feel. But if you address children, then automatically your attitude will shift, and it's easier for you to take in that different perspective. Absolutely necessary and valuable, even if it may be opposite to what you would have wanted to do. But this project is really, really important. It's a major decision that you're making, so I can see why you would feel the pressure of it. And you're advised not to think too much of it. Allow it to unfold organically. What you're trying to control is the actual outcome. So you have specific expectations from this decision. That's what you need to learn to let go of. Hence the advice for you to spend time around youth, or for example animals in nature and so on. You need to be intelligent about how you're going to act. Absolutely, you need to take everything into account, but you cannot control the outcome. You need to leave fate to fate and trust the process. It is for the highest good. No, I wouldn't say it. This is actually a very positive spin of the wheel for you. It's a lucky break. It's the whatever one may define as such. The chance, the opportunity, whether it's a job, it's the marriage, it's the relationship, it's the new house, it's the new car, it's that unexpected loan, is that unexpected respect, is that healing with a parent that you haven't spoken to, or you were struggling with, or that hurt you in the past, that healing that relationship. And it's just so beautiful. It's rebirth in such an unexpected, uncontrolled manner, because one of the two parts in whatever connection, da mommy, da mama, da. She's crying as if, I'm not here all day long like a corpse, and as if she's an abandoned kitten on the street, because my back, sorry you had to hear that. I had to go down and pick her up because she's Sasha. She's a little Taurus that loves wholeheartedly, never 70%, never 60%. It's always like 1000%. The most loving kitten ever. And she's saying, hi mommy. Yeah, say hi mommy, they're feeding you. You gotta say hi, you little bish. Little bishy. Sasha, you purring mommy. That's how she's saying hi. Yes, she's Sashi. Doesn't seem to be able to gain any weight, even though I hand feed her. She's hand fed. Pure protein, as in pure meat. It's kosher, don't worry. And she's not gaining any weight. Her nose is better, but... So, we're coming into major shifts and changes for you by Friday. Now, let's see. 7th day. The Page of Wands. Saturday is the day of love. It's an opportunity. Are you gonna embrace it? Are you truly gonna give yourself to it completely and entirely? Will you be able to, release jealousy, fear of losing, trying to control an outcome or situation? You may even feel guilty for how you handled the relationship in the past. You feel sad about it. You could have done things differently, and you may beat yourself over it. Maybe I could have handled it better. But at this point, it's irrelevant. What's done, it's done. No, mommy, no. Make sure you kind of tend more to the people that you actually care about. So this situation or situation from the past may present itself or come around again, and therefore it will reveal on how you've handled it in the past and why you kind of ruined it in some form. But then again, remember, if things are not meant to happen, they won't. They will happen when they're supposed to. So there's a possibility of receiving a visit, again, phone call, an offer, a proposal, communication. Someone expresses some feelings or some intentions, expresses themselves in relation to you or how they feel about you, etc. Which makes you feel a bit, right? And I think you are ready to open up. This can also be just friends, or again, people you love and care about. Either way, you're listening. You're open to listen. You are ready for love, absolutely. Ace of Wands, Page of Wands. You are opening up to it. You will have possible, again, close ones, friends, or even, again, that person from your past that you deeply care about and you kind of mess things up with, may need support. Careful about excitants such as black tea, coffee, etc. Sunday. We have fire, we have and earth. We have Geburah and Tiferet. Now, Geburah is the severity and fire. Tiferet is compassion, abundance, and wealth. As I said, something is not over. That connection, that boom, 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 boom that you feel, as if your heart is going to just jump out of your chest. Oh, yes, it's coming back around. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Someone younger than you. Dean. Then. What language am I speaking? The. Okay. Now, keep in mind, I did have a minor stroke recently, or last year, and I speak too many languages. Some of them not too often, not often enough, etc. And I've always had issues with speaking. Duh. Go figure, right? So I actually had to take diction classes in order to be able to express myself. And I was a mute as a child. Yep. Not that you care about, but just to tell you, we all have limitations. We need to be less critical about ourselves. It doesn't mean we're not working on them, what we can correct, but only for a purpose and if necessary. Otherwise, why use it? Why bother, right? We can use energy elsewhere. So I guess you're learning to work with energy. There's a lot of passion here that needs to go somewhere. There's a high risk of you investing it in someone. That's not always necessarily fair, okay? There's a lot of affection and just, downtime and just, rather than downtime, there's action. I mean, there's no other way to put it. There's really some action here. It's mutual, by the way, if you're wondering, does he feel the same way? Oh, yeah. Does she feel the same way? Oh, yes. The two of you may want to just go away somewhere, just detach from the world and be together. There's nothing wrong about that. Just don't non trascurare, don't ignore or leave out your other important connections and relationships. As in, don't isolate yourself. If this is love, it should be able to be lived and explored. Of course, not in all its aspects. Okay, be decent, please, and then get a room. But in the connection you share may actually inspire others. It's powerful. It's magnetic. It's magical, and I believe we all need to see more of people that love each other more. Beyond, the actuals, it's just the sexual chemistry of it. That's meant for other scopes. But ultimately, that connection is so sacred. Everybody recognizes it. And we're all just in awe of it. And we appreciate it. We may not have it for ourselves. It doesn't mean we cannot, appreciate it when we see it. It's so beautiful. So again, don't abandon your other people that you care about. You will have to decide on whether someone really cares for you or not, and how you translate based on your past experiences, how someone shows their affection or care for you. Is it just because they want you, whether physically or for some specific purpose? Or do you actually feel that they care about you, whichever you that may arise, good or bad? That's why I say don't feel bad about what happened, because even revealing our negative aspects, and if someone couldn't handle them, are they sure they can handle them now? Because they're not going to go away. You're learning to work with them. They may have translated negatively then, but if you work with them, they can be big, exemplary, beautiful skills. I don't know. For example, if you're a talker which again, I'm curiously not, but we do what we got to do. If you are a communicator, someone who likes to express themselves via words, others create with a pen and so on, or they like to allow actions to speak for them and so on. But if you have oratory skills, let's just put it like that, those have negative connotations to them when they use or they take over us, or we cannot control our emotions, or right, we try to use them as tools or means for which to get through to someone. Then they can take over and they just kind of take a life of their own, and they become so toxic to us, to others, and etc. But if you get a hold on them, and for example you find a job where that's exactly what is needed, someone who has this capacity to express the complex concepts in a very clear, concise manner, then wow, that's it. That's why you had that nature to you to begin with. But if left unchecked, again, it can turn against you, comes out at the weirdest times, right? So it's kind of what happens here. You are being asked to check how you express, once again, the same message, what you feel, but not what you feel emotionally, trauma, but rather what you aspire towards, your passions, what moves and motivates you, what you care about, in a very creative manner. So rather than focusing on what was, focusing on what you can build with what you've currently got. I see improvements in financial situation. I see a connection that is not over yet. So I would advise you at this point to consume it to the point of, being able to move next to anything else that may still connect you to the person. So until you explore this, whatever you feel, right, you will never know whether this was love or not. For sure, at least for you consciously. You need some form of a confirmation. So you will explore the passion, and what happens from there on remains to be seen. That's for you to start questioning. Is this person really caring about me? But in order for you to be able to do that from a place of, fairness and honesty and clarity, and you have to be able to ask the same questions to yourself to begin with. Do I care about this person? Or is it just a physical aspect? I just like their eyes or their smile or this or that. You know what I mean? Before you question whether they care for you, you need first and foremost to focus on what you want. Do you just want them for their physique? Then tell them that. It's going to be hard because you're going to want to, your ego is going to try and identify you with some form of a person or that form of a person. It will raise some morality issues that are not really based on anything. It's an emotion, it's there. You need to acknowledge it, explore it, and so on. But if you're going to identify yourself with it as if that's the only thing that you're ever going to do in life, your end all be all, then that's a problem. You're not going to do it. So you're judgmental towards yourself to begin with. Then again, as I said, there's other ways to explore an emotion. Not just as it presents itself. Something may present itself as highly intoxicating, passionate, and attractive, right? And you may say, okay, I see you. Wow, lots of fire here. This can turn pretty ugly pretty fast, right? Or I can use this and consciously be aware of it as it rises, and because it's supposed to come up in degrees, in stages, in states. And I can use it to actually manifest and create something. This is an opportunity also to plan for a child and to plan for a better relationship by working on mistakes of the past, starting with acknowledging something with past the definition of mistake per se, but rather making the necessary changes or adjustments in order to make something work. But it's a process. It's a process. It needs to be two-sided. It's right. You need to build this bridge. There is a bridge, right? And turn it from chains into an actual literal bridge, a connection that is, that golden thread is already there. But physically, how does it translate? Are you connected just as the sexual chakras? Is there the mental connection there? Do you still need it? Are the hearts enough? It's what I'm asking. Beyond however it may translate in the practical, involving the other senses. It should be enough. You don't need a reason to love someone. But you do need wisdom and intelligence to make it work day by day, to grow it into something, to make it last. Otherwise, it's like that beautiful, mesmerizing flower. Damami. And maybe that's why you like it, right? That only blooms once every 7 years, and it's somewhere in the mountains in the Himalayas, right? And nobody's going to see it. People will hunt it, that event, because it's so precious and special. Just an example. It's not 7 years. I don't recall how many years, but there's so many plants like that we've never get to see because it just blooms in one night with full moon on, And that's this kind of a connection. Special connections are just like that. So if you miss the momentum to be absolutely to the core, vulnerable, honest, devoted, loyal, to make that commitment to one another. But from there on, even when you do, it's the process starts. It's daily task and chore, and it's much like any other crop, any other, work that building process that you would begin. Do you think it's worth building? For example, you would do this if you were to invest in your career. We start off at school and then we get to college and we hope to get the job. But it's the same process for everything else. Relationships, it's the same process for us. And everything that exists in the creation, it goes through the stages. Will you be able to, all those fears, turn them into something positive? The fears of abandonment, of betrayal, of being hurt, of being vulnerable, being used, or Hashem forbid, abused, or by someone else. Are you able to put those on the side for a moment and realize that, wait a minute, this is another person, it's another circumstance. I do have this under control. I'm here, I'm present, I can feel, I trust my feelings. I trust that this was meant to happen for whichever purpose, however it may unfold. I will handle it as it arises and claim no attempt of controlling it to begin with. And allow it to unfold beautifully, right? Da, mama, da. Look at you, you beggar of love. Yes. And she's saying, no, I'm not begging you. I'm trying to give you love. Da, mama. Da? Da, you be them. Sasha. Hi, da, mama. Hi, da, mama. No, not Yoloe, no. You're going to hurt yourself there. Da. Don't. She's going to take a spike. Haydi mama. Haydi. She's fearless. She's my fearless baby. We got cards on the floor. She now knows they're unstable. Haydi mama. Hi. Oh yes, my baby. She trusts me. Yes. So, this is an example. Do you trust that someone will catch you if you fall? But most importantly, will you catch them if they fall? Honestly and sincerely, do you feel that that's what you want to do? Anyway, we love you. That was your week. Have a blessed new cycle. Shalom, and take good care of yourselves. And praise be the Most High for giving us another week to enjoy, to rejoice. And yeah, there's a lot of information I got for some reason, child, for this week. There's huge changes as you can see. We have, let's go back through it. The Ace of Wands, Monday. Tuesday, 10 of Pentacles, 1-1. We spoke of that, right? We have a Knight of Swords. That's fast movement, clear communication, clarification, justice, initiating battles for good causes, so on and so forth. Bravery, courage, and willingness to pursue, to explore and to express honestly and straightforwardly. There's no fear here. There's just courage galore. And it's just so in line with how it translates in the material reality, as in everything seems to be falling into place, right? The scorpionic death, no longer fearing this energy that you may be able to channel, right? Which can be karmic, as in people feel other people who have the potential to change their lives with one look, with one, right? You may have been fearing this and holding back for this very reason. The last thing you would want is to be responsible for having had a conscious impact in someone else's life. So you just threw your hand in the sand like the ostrich and decided, no, I'm not that. I'm just irrelevant. I don't know. We all have, whether we realize it or not. But this is someone who is supposed to consciously yield this intellect that they're having, the tools and the skills and the resources and etc. Now everything seems to be moving, like nature does. When a cell is healed, it's moving to kind of lead and assist that cell to fulfill its task, right? So hence the wheel has turned. We will see many of those who appear to be, hopeless and a lost cause rising up. And there they are, starting something new. It's also the student's card, but very explorative, very youthful. Spend as much time with the youth, or your focus should be on the youth, or observe and study, and don't allow the breakage, the broken bridge in between generations, to continue this way. We need to build back those bridges, both between genders, in between generations, in between parents and blood relatives and families, the past, and etc. And what's going to happen, because nothing can be for nothing. So now we're going to see the fruits there where there should be some actual genuine fruits, where truth and love was, seminated, right, seeded, if you want to. That's what's going to be built. And there's connections that every one of you has experienced, that you now hear, that you feel as toxic because they're so powerful. You may feel powerless, exposed, vulnerable, but that's the dark night of the soul, babies. Yeah, baby. It's how it happens. You meet your twin to do the work, to start doing the work. And in many cases, it's the so-called false twin, and it's not the person that you're supposed to be with, but someone who has those exact necessary behaviors, characteristics, and traits in order to trigger, right? That's what we do. So don't hate the person. Don't hate me, please. Well, you can do whatever you want, and is it helping you? It's what I'm trying to say. So whatever arises within you, instead of feeling guilty about it, or just allowing it to work through you once you've tried to bury it for so long, and then it's triggered out of nowhere and it takes over and control and ruins your life, and you just left there and looking, what the fuck did just happen here? This is not who I am. Then you try to desperately explain yourself. Just listen, I could do this, I can do that, I know I can. Nobody cares. It's irrelevant at this point, right? Just let it go. Drop it. If something needs to be revisited, it will come back around. Stop trying so hard to prove something. That's the point here. But you were meant to be revealed, all of those patterns and behaviors, without you identifying yourself with them, but understanding that they're there. And they're there for a reason, and you can turn them into something else. Now, the wand is such an archaic symbol and concept, right? The magus, the magicians, the high priests of all, everybody had a wand, a cane, etc. The wizards. Why do you think that is? It's like an extension of the hand. As in, you can extend something, whatever you put forth, a specific energy in it, right? In this case, it's life. It's meant to turn green, and In other cases, when necessary, you can use it as a defense tool, and right, it's the first tool that we use, whether to make the fire, to fight off enemies, animals, to fight in between one another, to find water, to etc. Right? And it's the seed. It's a beginning. It's taking that decisive action towards something. And that's what was necessary. But something, we always hear, is coming back around. Not in a different form. You are in a different form. You are at your next stage or degree, all right? But the emotion is not changed. So that's what's going to be risky here. Because you think, okay, then I'm not healed because I feel the same thing about this mother lover here. So what's up with that, right? Because it's not going to change. It can't. The connection you share. You've recognized one another. What needed to change, rather not even change per se, but transform, and for you to be ready for such a connection, is you, the two of you. But the connection is still there. It's unbreakable. There's a chain there for a reason. This is meant to happen. Again, if you're not, either of you not wise, at least one of you, especially the feminine, should be able to know how to handle this and lead it to fruition. And it requires patience, consistency, wisdom, and so on. If you're not gonna be able to do it, then you're gonna part again and feel the separation again, which can also be an opportunity for growth as well, of course. But either way, did you get the point? So this can be a week, and it can lead up to a cycle of 7 years, because that's how the most important cycles usually last, up to 7 years. It can be a big cycle. It can be something that happens boom, 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 boom. But remember, cycles last up to 7. There's a reason why we started school at 7. Then they pushed it back to 6, but it was always 7. Something reaches its maturity at 7. Its fruition, it shows its fruits at 7. Something concludes and something else begins. It's absolutely a beginning. It's an ace. It's a winning card. Wheel of Fortune, major arcana in your favor. The death says some things are coming back around because there was something for you genuine there. The timing was not it. Then again, it was supposed to happen the way it did for you to achieve your growth. Be more honest, more straightforward, more serene and grateful, and at least able to see abundance, right? It's an abundance mindset, rather, perspective, perception, rather than lack. Because lack only, generates more lack and so on. That's an idiotic thing to say. Lack cannot generate anything. That's the whole point. It's a void. It's a vacuum, right? So just you opening up to abundance and boom, 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 right? But you have to be, wholeheartedly open to it and willing to co-create and co-work here. It's all expansive. It's a lot of masculine energy, I gotta tell you, except this one. And maybe scorpionic energy here, death. But it's in reverse, so that's why I say. It's very grounded, very, very matriarch kind of an energy, a very wise feminine involved, a very passionate masculine, always willing to explore, very exciting energy. This is just to have as a friend is so expansive, so beautiful, so positive. But in this case, I believe you cannot be friends because you wouldn't accept friends with benefits, right? You wouldn't compromise on that regard. And you may misjudge them and think that that's what they want. No, they want the whole package too. Just need to figure out the practical details. It requires patience. You may want for things that you don't actually currently even need to begin with. You may say, but are you going to marry me? Absolutely, that's fair. Marry me or get out the door, right? But there's ways to put it, if you know my drift. If a woman that really knows doesn't really get into the details or even discussing these things, does her part, right? But in reality, are you ready for that? Would you imagine just the first steps? Okay, we're going to move in together. Are you sure you're ready for that? Not practical wise, I'm quite sure you're capable once you get into it, but wouldn't it just be going back in toxic patterns where you're serving others and trying to be humble and overgive and cancel yourself again and right to attempt to do so, and therefore frustration arises alongside the demands and the expectations. It's the same toxic cycle if you're not ready. This masculine knows and feels you feel one another when you're ready. One thing is for sure, this pool is there for a reason. It needs to be explored. So I'm not giving you any advice on how to handle it, but to ignore it, it's foolish. Then again, as I said, you don't heal by ignoring something that you feel about someone. Because, for example, in handling mourning, when someone literally passes away, there's ways and stages of mourning, and even when we release something that transcend, you can still live without a loved one. How? By no longer accepting separation as being defined just by physical presence. So there is no separation. They're always there with you. They're always within your heart. So that's how you learn to cope with mourning in general. How anyone can ever, if they manage, right, to overcome it. So it's the same here. There was never really any separation. And I believe that's the realization of, well, we're still here in the physical. Might as well give it another try, at least be with one another. Because the connection is there. There is possibility for you coming in contact, speaking of which I'm always trying to glide over. I just caught myself there. Because when I came to death on first day, especially because it's a first day, you will come in contact with some form of death. It may not be something as important as one may expect. It will still, touch you deeply and reveal another side of you that you may have even forgotten about or buried altogether, left out altogether. So if you're going to define yourself, life is going to bring you an opportunity to reveal the nature of your heart, who you truly are, the things you care about, how sensitive and caring you truly are. And usually that is revealed through a painful circumstance. So someone that you deeply, connect to, not necessarily someone you know necessarily that well or close to you or you've built a relationship with. No, it may just be you witnessing some form of, passing on in such a manner that will just impact you more than you would expect, but not in a painful, unconsolable manner, but it just reveals something about yourself. It opens up your heart again, which is exactly what you need here. I don't feel it's directly connected with any one close or very important to you personally, but you're gonna witness it, or you're gonna know of it. But I sense there's something of a personal witnessing of something. It may be an animal, it doesn't have to be, life is life, right? And that's but curiously enough, it's also gonna reveal to you how much more you've grown, in the sense of how you're gonna handle it. The feelings that will arise will not be the same as they would have been, desperation and why does this need to happen? This is not fair, the anger and the resentment and how we argue with Father. But the important thing, we still have a relationship with Father, right? But at this point, you're gonna see it as, it's part of nature. It's still gonna be painful, but you're gonna overcome it and see it as, destiny, fortune. And you're gonna understand, well, that beautiful creature had to go because someone else had to come. So it's the cycle. You are here because someone else went, so on and so forth. So there's a new connection with death, life, etc. Anyway, there's also a false sense of morality, or an idea or concept of morality that may not be sincerely yours. You may have been a bit dishonest with yourself when it comes to the things that you would be willing to do for someone you love. And it may have to do a lot with how you may be perceived by others, or rather, not because you care too much about how they see you per se, but you didn't want to compromise your opportunity to actually inspire, help others, and so on. So you thought if I would be perceived or put in this light, then that would seriously restrict my possibility to make an impact or help or assist. Because who would want to, come to me if I was a persona non grata, or I was seen as someone of, low quality or morality or moral values, or lacking in thereof. So you're no longer conditioned by that. Something binds you with this person. You're not as different as you would have initially thought. So that bias has got to go. How you're going to proceed in the practical is going to take two. Don't feel you need to take this all on you either. The Fool in reverse. Is this reckless? Is this impulsive? Is this... Yes, there are things that absolutely are. If you feel them as such, absolutely don't do them. Don't do anything that you feel is stupid at this time. Don't. You don't have to. You have reason and intellect and information, and for a reason. Sometimes things are or can be exactly what they were meant to be up until a certain point. Then they turn toxic. Then it's up to us to determine, can we turn them around? Or, still plant some seeds in this arid desert here, or wherever this is. Can we still grow something, right? But if you're trying on your own and the other person doesn't, the answer is absolutely no. You move on. Even if it's painful, even if you still feel the connection, you simply move on. You learn to no longer associate physical presence with actual connections. And you're not going to sacrifice new or other connections, which are supposed to be just as special and important and relevant to you, for another. Each of them is special. So many blessings. May you be healed, sealed, guided, and protected on your paths. Shalom.